In the early hours of a quiet January morning in 2026, the world lost one of its most beloved comedy icons, Catherine O'Hara. There were no flashing cameras, no red carpets, and no dramatic farewell, only a gentle announcement that she had passed away following a brief illness. For fans around the globe, the news felt unreal, almost impossible to process. Just days earlier, she seemed as vibrant as ever, her wit and warmth still echoing through decades of unforgettable performances. Catherine O'Hara was more than a performer. She was a constant presence in people's lives, someone whose work felt like home. Her passing didn't arrive with scandal or spectacle, but with a stillness that made the loss even heavier. It reminded everyone that even the brightest lights can quietly fade, leaving behind memories that feel both comforting and painfully irreplaceable. A life built on laughter and resilience. Long before the world knew her name, Catherine O'Hara grew up in a loud, loving household in Toronto, one of 7 children in a family where humour wasn't optional, it was survival. In that crowded home, quick wit was how you were heard, and laughter became a second language. That early environment shaped her instincts, sharpening her comedic timing and emotional awareness. She didn't chase attention. She learned how to earn it naturally. When she later joined the legendary improvisational scene, she carried that foundation with her, standing out not by being louder, but by being smarter, subtler, and deeply human. Comedy for her was never about punchlines alone. It was about truth, observation, and connection. Those early years taught her how to transform chaos into joy, a skill that would define her entire career and quietly sustain her through life's unseen challenges. Forging a legacy in a tough industry, Catherine's rise through the comedy world was anything but easy. The improvisational stages of the 1970s were demanding and often unforgiving, yet she thrived among giants by refusing to become anyone's shadow. Working alongside future legends, she carved out a presence that felt effortless, but was built on relentless discipline. She had the rare ability to disappear into characters so completely that audiences forgot the performer behind them. This talent carried her from sketch comedy into film, where she created roles that felt timeless rather than trendy. Whether playing eccentric, maternal, or wildly unpredictable characters, she grounded them in emotional truth. Fame arrived, but she treated it cautiously, never letting it define her worth. Even as opportunities grew, Catherine remained selective, guided not by visibility but by meaning. She was building a career designed to last, not just to shine. Becoming a part of family traditions. For millions of people, Catherine O'Hara became inseparable from cherished memories. Her role as the frantic yet loving mother in Home Alone turned her into a symbol of warmth, panic, and unconditional love, replayed in homes year after year. That single scream of a child's name became a shared cultural moment, echoing every holiday season. But what made her performance special wasn't volume or comedy alone, it was sincerity. She made exaggerated situations feel real, reminding audiences that love often shows itself through imperfection. Over time, her characters blended into family traditions, becoming familiar faces people trusted. While audiences laughed, Catherine understood the responsibility of that connection. She never treated these roles lightly. She knew she wasn't just entertaining, she was becoming part of people's lives. That quiet awareness shaped how carefully she chose her work and protected her private world. The perfectionist behind the smile. Behind the effortless humour was a woman known for intense focus and quiet self-doubt. Catherine O'Hara approached comedy with the precision of a craftsperson, refining every gesture, pause and expression. Colleagues often described her as meticulous, deeply prepared and surprisingly nervous before performances. She never believed success was guaranteed, even after decades of acclaim. That humility fueled her excellence, but also demanded a heavy emotional toll. She held herself to standards few could meet, believing that audiences deserved nothing less than her best. Rather than chasing celebrity, she chased improvement. The laughter she delivered so freely was carefully constructed, built on countless unseen hours of thought and revision. This perfectionism became both her armor and her burden, helping her maintain brilliance while quietly exhausting her, even as the world assumed her confidence was unshakable. A late career renaissance. When Moira Rose arrived on television, Catherine O'Hara redefined what a career revival could look like. In her 60s, she delivered a performance so bold, strange, and emotionally rich that it instantly became iconic. The character's voice, fashion, and theatrical flair captured global attention, but beneath the extravagance was deep humanity. Catherine didn't just play Moira. She understood her loneliness, her pride, and her fear of irrelevance. Awards followed, praise poured in, and audiences celebrated what felt like a triumphant return. Yet for Catherine, it wasn't a comeback, it was simply another chapter of honest work. She proved that creativity doesn't fade with age, it deepens. While the world saw reinvention, she saw responsibility, continuing to give everything she had, even as the physical and emotional demands quietly increased behind the scenes. Carrying loss and private grief, throughout her life, Catherine O'Hara experienced profound loss, watching friends and creative partners pass away far too soon. Those moments shaped her deeply, reinforcing her desire to keep fame at arm's length. She learned early that applause fades, but grief lingers. Rather than retreating publicly, she carried sorrow privately, showing strength when others needed reassurance. Her resilience wasn't loud or dramatic, it was steady and composed. She continued working, mentoring younger performers, and honouring the people she had lost by staying dedicated to her craft. That quiet endurance became part of who she was. The audience saw laughter, but beneath it lived remembrance and reflection. Catherine never allowed tragedy to define her, yet it informed her choices, her boundaries, and her unwavering commitment to live with dignity, no matter how visible her career became. Choosing privacy over spectacle. In an industry fueled by exposure, Catherine O'Hara made privacy her greatest act of defiance. She avoided scandal not by accident, but by intention. Her personal life remained protected, her inner circle small and trusted. Even at the height of renewed fame, she stepped back when needed, declining appearances and opportunities that threatened her peace. As time passed, fans noticed her growing absence, but she offered no explanations. She believed some stories didn't belong to the public. When her health declined, she faced it the same way she lived, quietly and with control. There were no dramatic statements or emotional interviews, only a simple acknowledgement when the time came. In choosing restraint, she preserved her dignity, reminding the world that not every ending requires a performance, and that silence can be a powerful, intentional choice. A legacy that speaks without words. Catherine O'Hara's legacy isn't defined by how she left, but by how fully she gave. She offered laughter that comforted, characters that felt real, and performances that aged with grace. To co-stars, she was a mentor. To audiences, she was familiarity and warmth. To the industry, she was proof that longevity comes from integrity, not noise. Her passing left a rare quiet behind, the kind that invites reflection rather than speculation. She showed that success doesn't require constant visibility, and that stepping away can be an act of strength. Though she is no longer here, her work continues to echo, filling homes with laughter and reminding people of connection. Catherine O'Hara didn't disappear. She settled into history, leaving behind gratitude instead of